Hi, Chef Joe with Healthy Kids Inc. and today we're going to be making chicken enchiladas and Mexican rice. So we've got our shredded cooked chicken here in a large bowl. We're going to go in with some green chilies and take a nice handful of shredded cheese. We've lined the bottom of our casserole dish with some tomato sauce, just enough to kind of coat the bottom. We're also going to add some into our mixture here. Kind of eyeball it a little bit. All right, I'm going to stir this to combine. All right, so once you get most of that incorporated, we're going to add a little bit of garlic powder. Use some fresh cracked black pepper. And a pinch of kosher sea salt. All right, and this is going to serve as our filling for our enchiladas. So at this point, let's take a tortilla, take some of your filling, and you're going to roll it up. And place it seam side down. You can kind of squish if it won't fit perfectly in your dish and repeat the process a few more times. Our oven is preheated to 350 degrees. These are going to bake for 30 to 45 minutes. All right, so we filled our casserole dish. We've got our sauce on the bottom. We have our tortillas with the enchilada filling inside of them, rolled up seam side down. Press them in nice and good. Now I'm going to put some more of our tomato sauce over the top. You can kind of go as light or be as liberal here as you want. Actually, I like to make sure that each one is kind of smothered, because as the sauce heats up and kind of cooks, the sugars in the tomato will kind of caramelize, leave you with nice tasting enchiladas. We're also going to put a little bit more cheese on top. Just kind of spread it out like this. Okay, now we're going to go on with the rest of our cheese. Okay, so this is ready to go into the oven. We're going to cover it for the first little bit, and then at the very end we're going to take our cover off and let the cheese kind of get a little crispy on top. So this is going to go into the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes, give or take. And we'll come back and check it out in just a little bit, and we'll get started on our rice. All right, we're ready to begin on our rice. So we've got a nice, we're using a wok. You could use a saucepan, anything with a nice lid. Something that we can kind of stir fry our rice in. I've got about 2 tablespoons of oil in the bottom of the pan. Let this heat up. We're going to go in with our rice. I'm going to give this a minute or two to kind of toast and start to soak up the flavor of the oils there. And while that is working, we're going to season some fresh cracked black pepper. Nice pinch of kosher salt. Got a little bit of onion powder. You could use some garlic powder too. Key here is you do not want to let any of this burn, so you have to watch it really close. Okay. And now to this, we're going to add 2 cups of water. So we've got 1 cup here. Give it a second. We have crushed bouillon cube. Now you could use low sodium chicken stock in place here and just use a little bit less water or no water at all. If you use 2 cups of chicken stock, that would replace your water. Stir this in. Now what we're going to do now, we're going to cover it. We're going to bring the heat up, bring this to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we're going to remove the lid, reduce it to a simmer, and let it simmer away for about 25 to 30 minutes or however long it takes for the amount of liquid, which is 2 cups of water, to absorb into the rice. And at that point, your rice will be done and our enchiladas should be ready. So we'll come back and check this in just a few minutes once it comes up to a boil. We are ready to remove the lid. A lot of the liquid has already soaked up, so we're going to reduce this down all the way to low heat. There's still a little bit of liquid in the bottom, but for the most part, it has all been soaked up by the rice. And we're just going to let it continue cooking until all of the liquid has soaked up. So at this point, we're going to let it finish uncovered on very low heat until all of that liquid is nice and absorbed. All right, we're going to pop these back into the oven for just a few more minutes uncovered. Let the tortillas kind of get a little bit crispy. Let the cheese kind of caramelize a little bit, and then these will be done. So maybe 5 more minutes tops in the oven. All right, at this point you can see all of the liquid has absorbed into our rice. So at this point you can kill the heat, and it's perfect timing because our enchiladas are now done. So we're ready to pull those out of the oven. You can see you've got your cheese nice and melted on top. Get a little bit of crispiness on the edges of the tortillas. But we'll plate this up with our Mexican rice and show you the finished product in just a couple of minutes.